Brilliance Audio. When Jasmine Blooms by Tif Marcelo. Performed by Fidel Capistrano. Standing in the dim study, lit only by an hourglass lamp on a scratched oak desk and the blazing flames of the fireplace, I ran a thumb against the dark brown leather of the book in my hand. Though a storm raged outside, with raindrops drumming above and splattering against the old windows, my senses were focused on the crater-like divots of the embossed leaves on its cover and the crevices of the book's title, Little Women. A classic that had guided me throughout my life, read silently and aloud to myself, and then to my children. Its characters were known to me as if they themselves were alive. Meg, Jo, Beth, and Amy March. I had been each of them at different phases of my life. Then, one day, Marmee had taken center stage. Marmee, the strong and brave mother, loving and intuitive. For decades, I'd found confidence and comfort in Marmee's stoic and loving nature, and the similarities between her and me. Marmee had been a military wife, and she'd made a life helping others just like me. She'd had a husband who loved people, as my Quinn did. She'd had 4 children. She'd had 4 children. A tear slid from my cheek and dropped onto the leather. It streaked down the cover and pooled in one of the leaves. Shutting my eyes to hold back the rest of my tears, I steeled myself against the stark upswing of breathlessness. I had read this story so much that the pages were yellowed and wrinkled and annotated. Its contents were all but memorized and imprinted in my brain. And yet, despite years of study, I had missed something entirely. The true tragedy of Beth's death. Marmee had lost Beth, but my eyes had glazed over the words. I'd turned the pages without pausing to consider what that had really meant to the family, to Marmee. And now I knew why. Her death had been suffered in silence. Life had moved on. Marmee had had no closure. For the first time, Little Women had no answer and gave no consolation. With a final look at the book, I tossed it into the fire. Heat blazed in the study. The pages and leather singed and curled into the flames, emitting the bitter smell of a day-old campfire. And much like my heart, the book turned to ashes. Cold fingertips against my wrist snapped me out of my haze, and I blinked to see a woman speaking in front of me. As my vision sharpened, her garbled speech turned into actual words. "Was the best baker in the neighborhood. I'm sorry for your loss," she was saying. We had been introduced years ago by Libby herself, though at the moment, this woman's name had escaped my memory. Despite my overconsumption of coffee, my body was still going at half speed, my brain trailing behind it. Still, I pressed my lips into what I hoped was a smile. "Thank you for coming." "Of course, I just can't believe this. I remember when Libby," the woman continued, and at the sound of my 3rd daughter's name on her lips, my body tensed, eyes shutting ever so briefly so my lungs remembered to expand and contract. In and out. Fill and empty. Carbon dioxide for oxygen. There had been so many stories today, tales from people who I didn't recognize that were meant to be reminiscent and lovely. Stories meant to console, to comfort, to add humor to the whisperings of a quiet room. But all of it had had the opposite effect on me.